Some mornings begin with a weight you can't explain. You wake up, but something inside feels heavy. Not your body, but your heart. It's that quiet fatigue of the soul. When you've smiled too long while fighting invisible battles. You breathe, you move, you get dressed, but deep down, you whisper, I don't know if I have it in me today. The world keeps asking for more. More patience, more courage, more hope. While all you have left feels like fragments. And sometimes, it feels like faith itself has gone silent. Like God's voice echoes faintly somewhere far away. But it's in that silence, in that stillness between what hurts and what heals, that His whisper reaches you again. You can. Not because you're strong enough. Not because you've figured it out. But because I am with you. And in that instant, something sacred awakens. A verse that has comforted millions through storms, fear, and failure. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The words don't shout, they breathe. They carry the power of quiet endurance. They remind you that strength isn't loud, it's faithful. That courage doesn't always roar, sometimes it just whispers, I'll try again tomorrow. This verse isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about standing through everything faithfully. When Paul wrote this verse, he wasn't celebrating success or freedom. He was writing from a prison cell, a place where walls were his view and uncertainty was his companion. Yet from that place of weakness, he spoke of strength. From limitation, he wrote about freedom. From need, he declared contentment. Because Paul had discovered a secret, a truth hidden in the heart of faith. Strength is not the absence of weakness. It's the presence of Christ within weakness. He said, I have learned to be content in whatever circumstance I'm in. I know what it is to have plenty, and I know what it is to be in need. In all things, I have learned the secret. And that secret wasn't a method, it was a person, Christ. Paul's strength didn't come from self-confidence, it came from surrender. He wasn't pretending to be okay. He was confessing that God was enough. That's why this verse isn't a battle cry of pride, it's a whisper of dependence. It doesn't mean, I can do anything I want. It means, I can face everything I must. Because Christ strengthens me, not once, but continually. Every breath. Every tear, every silent prayer in the dark cell of life. The same Christ who sat beside Paul in prison sits beside you in your uncertainty. He hasn't changed. The same power that steadied Paul's heart is alive in yours. And that's why you can say, even through trembling lips, I can do all things, through Christ who strengthens me. We often imagine strength as loud, visible, and impressive. But divine strength rarely looks that way. Sometimes, it looks like showing up when you want to hide. It looks like kindness in the middle of disappointment. It looks like forgiveness in the middle of pain. Strength through Christ is not about pretending to be fearless. It's about moving forward even when fear walks beside you. It's about knowing that faith isn't a feeling. It's a decision you make when your feelings fall silent. Because strength is not about control, it's about trust. Maybe you've reached the point where you've prayed all you can pray. You've tried to stay hopeful, but the waiting is long. You've given, loved, believed, and still, life feels stuck between promise and silence. You're not weak for feeling that way. You're human. And God meets you in that humanity, not beyond it. He doesn't demand that you climb higher. He meets you right where your knees have fallen. He doesn't ask for your perfection. He offers His presence. And that presence is enough. Let your soul breathe these truths slowly. I am not defined by my weakness. I am strengthened by His grace. I am guided, even when I don't see the way. I am loved, not for what I do, but for who He is. When I can't carry the weight, Christ carries me. When I lose direction, His light finds me. When I doubt, His faith in me does not fade. Strength is not the sound of victory. It's the stillness that remains when everything else falls away. So when you whisper, "I can do all things through Christ," you're not declaring control. You're declaring confidence in the one who never fails. You're reminding your soul that this journey was never meant to be walked alone. Sometimes, God lets the storm stay so He can teach you how to stand within it. Sometimes, He doesn't move the mountain. He strengthens your legs to climb it. And sometimes, He lets you run out of strength so that you can finally rest in His. He is not waiting for you to prove your faith. He is waiting for you to trust His heart. Because faith that rests is stronger than faith that strives. Strength in Christ is not a moment. It's a movement of grace that never stops flowing. You may have days when your heart trembles, but His strength never does. You may run out of words, but His word keeps speaking. Every sunrise that meets your pain is a reminder that grace renews itself daily. Yesterday's strength might be gone, but today's mercy is brand new. When Paul said, "I can do all things," he wasn't talking about ambition. He was talking about endurance. He wasn't boasting of what he could achieve, but rejoicing in what he could survive with Christ. And maybe that's the miracle we overlook, that we are still here. Still breathing. Still believing, even after everything. That's not weakness. That's resurrection strength. Quiet, unseen, unstoppable. So when life shakes the ground beneath you, don't rush to stand tall again. Take a breath and feel the arms of God beneath your feet. He's not asking you to be unbreakable. He's asking you to be available. Available for His peace, available for His timing, available for His voice that says, "Keep walking. I'm still with you." The world will measure strength by success, but heaven measures it by surrender. Because faith is not built in comfort, it's refined in fire. And when the fire comes, Christ doesn't stand outside it shouting directions. He steps inside it with you. He becomes the calm in your chaos, the melody in your silence, the anchor when everything drifts. Let your heart repeat it slowly, like prayer. I am not afraid of tomorrow. I am not alone in today. I am held by unseen hands. I am strong because Christ is within me. Even when I don't feel ready, He is. Even when I doubt my purpose, He reminds me who I am. Even when I fall short, His grace fills the space between. I can face the mountain. I can wait through the silence. I can hope again, because He is my strength. Every storm ends, but what you learn about God in the storm stays forever. The wind teaches faith. The waiting teaches peace. The weakness teaches worship. So if you're still waiting for something to change, don't confuse stillness with absence. God's quiet doesn't mean He's gone. It means He's working in depths you can't see yet. Lord, You know how often I try to be enough on my own. You see the weight I carry, the thoughts that spiral, the fears I hide. But You also see the tiny spark that refuses to die. The part of me that still believes You're good. Teach me again what true strength is. It isn't noise. It isn't control. It's the peace that comes from Your presence. Let Your calm settle where worry once lived. Let Your light rest where shadows have been. When I am tired, You are my rest. When I am uncertain, You are my clarity. When I am weak, You are my strength. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Help me stop fighting for proof and start resting in Your promise. Even when I cannot see what's next, teach me to trust that You're already there. And when my faith trembles, hold me steady in Your grace, until I learn again to say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Thank You for being the calm in my chaos, the answer in my silence, the peace in my storm. Keep me close. Keep me humble. Keep me strong in You. The world says strength means never falling. But God whispers that true strength is getting back up again and again, with grace in your eyes. Every scar you carry is not proof of defeat. It's proof you were not alone in the battle. Every tear you've cried was counted and kept by the one who turns mourning into strength. You don't have to chase perfection to honor God. You just have to stay in His presence long enough for your heart to be transformed. Because when you rest in Him, you begin to see that the victory was never about winning. It was about remaining. Remaining faithful. Remaining hopeful. Remaining in Christ. And that's the essence of this verse. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It isn't a shout of achievement. It's a song of dependence. A quiet anthem for those who choose to trust in the dark, to walk when the path is unclear, to believe when logic has given up. When you say, I can, you're not boasting about your ability. You're bearing witness to His faithfulness. You're declaring that Christ in you is enough to face this day, this season, this life. Whisper these truths with a soft heart. I am strong in Christ. I am guided by His light. I am held by His love. I am never alone. I can breathe again. I can begin again. I can trust again. Because every time you turn your weakness into worship, He turns your burden into blessing. So if your heart feels tired today, don't rush to fix it. Invite God to fill it. Let grace settle where the struggle has been. Let peace replace the pressure to be enough. And as you rest in Him, you'll begin to realize that you were never called to carry everything, only to believe through everything. This is the promise that holds you. You are stronger than yesterday, because He is still the same today. And His strength is not running out. It never did. It never will. The same Christ who spoke to Paul in chains is speaking to you in your challenges. And He says, you can do this, not because you must, but because I am with you. So walk into this day with peace in your spirit. Breathe slowly, move gently, and remember, you're not doing life alone. You are doing life through Christ. And in Him, you can do all things. If this message spoke to your heart, share it with someone who needs to remember that they can still stand, still hope, still believe. Let this verse echo in your mind as you go through your day. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And as you say it one last time, feel the peace that follows, that quiet, unshakable peace that can only come from Him.